I want you to stop everything you are doing and look at your life with a level of brutal honesty that you have perhaps avoided for years. We are here to dismantle the single greatest lie that has ever infected the human mind. It is a lie so seductive and so comforting that it has lulled millions of brilliant souls into a deep spiritual coma. That lie is the belief in the perfect moment. You know exactly what I am talking about. It is the voice in your head that says, "I will start when I have more money. I will begin when the kids are older. I will launch that business when the economy is stable. I will write that book when I feel inspired." You are waiting for the stars to align. You are waiting for a signal from the heavens. You are waiting for the fear to subside and for confidence to arrive like a package at your doorstep. I am here to tell you that you are waiting for a train that will never come. The perfect moment is a mirage. It is a ghost. It does not exist in the fabric of reality. It is a mental construct designed by your ego to keep you safe and small. Let us look at the graveyard of human potential. If we could walk through the cemetery of history, we would not see that men failed because they lacked talent. We would not see that they failed because they lacked intelligence or opportunity. We would see that the vast majority of men and women failed simply because they were waiting. They were waiting for permission. They were waiting for certification. They were waiting for applause before they even stepped onto the stage. How many dreams have you buried in the soil of your own hesitation? I am not asking about the dreams you tried and failed at. I am asking about the dreams you suffocated because you refused to move. You did not lack the vision. You lacked the velocity. You convinced yourself that you were preparing. You convinced yourself that you were analyzing. But in reality, you were drifting. Napoleon Hill warned us about the habit of drifting. It is the primary tool that nature uses to ensure that only the strong survive. The drifter is the person who accepts life as it comes without a definite plan. The drifter is the person who waits for life to happen to them rather than making life happen. When you say, "I am waiting for the right time," you are announcing to the universe that you are a drifter. You are handing the steering wheel of your destiny over to circumstance. You are letting the economy decide your future. You are letting the opinions of your neighbors decide your worth. You are letting your feelings dictate your actions. And the moment you do that, you have lost. You have surrendered your birthright as a creator. You must understand the psychology behind this waiting. It is fear disguised as wisdom. Your brain is a survival mechanism. It is designed to keep you alive, not to make you a legend. When you think about taking a bold new step, your brain registers danger. It does not distinguish between the danger of a tiger in the jungle and the danger of social embarrassment or financial risk. So it creates a brilliant defense mechanism called the perfect moment. It tells you that you are not scared. You are just being prudent. It tells you that you are not lazy. You are just waiting for the market to correct itself. It tells you that you are not hiding. You are just getting your ducks in a row. Do not be successfully deceived by your own alibis. You are not preparing. You are procrastinating. Let's get brutally honest about what happens when you wait. You think that by waiting you are preserving your energy and your resources. You think you are saving yourself for the big game, but the laws of nature state otherwise. Energy that is not used effectively turns into stagnation. Water that sits still becomes poison. A muscle that is not used atrophies. By waiting, you are not preserving your potential. You are rotting it. Every day that you delay the fire inside you dims a little bit more. The momentum dies. The excitement fades. The vision becomes blurry. And the heavy blanket of someday begins to suffocate your soul. You tell yourself, "I will do it tomorrow." But tomorrow is the most dangerous word in the English language. Tomorrow is the road that leads to a town called never. You have been conditioned to believe that you need to feel ready before you act. You think that confidence is a prerequisite for action. This is backward thinking. Confidence is not a requirement for action. Confidence is the result of action. You do not wait until you are not afraid to move. You move while you are afraid, and the movement kills the fear. Look at the people you admire. Look at the titans of industry, the great leaders, the visionaries. Do you think they waited until they felt perfectly ready? Do you think Henry Ford waited until he knew everything about engines before he started? Do you think Thomas Edison waited until he had a guarantee that the light bulb would work? No. They moved with imperfect knowledge. They moved with limited resources. They moved while the world called them crazy. They understood that you cannot steer a parked car. You must be in motion to be guided. The perfect moment is a trap because it assumes that the future will be easier than the present. You tell yourself that next year you will have more time. Next year you will have less stress. That is a lie. Life does not get simpler, it gets more complex. New challenges will always arise. New obstacles will always appear. If you cannot act in the midst of your current chaos, you will not act when things are calm, because things will never be calm. The chaos is the training ground. The difficulty is the test. Waiting for the storm to pass is a fool's strategy. You must learn to dance in the rain. You must learn to build your empire while the ground is shaking. That is what separates the master from the amateur. Consider the runway analogy. Most people spend their entire lives circling the runway. They are taxiing the plane, they are checking the engines, they are adjusting the mirrors. They are reading manuals on aerodynamics, they are talking to the control tower, they are doing everything except the one thing that matters, which is taking off. They are terrified of the liftoff because that is the moment of commitment. Once you are in the air, there is no turning back. So they stay on the ground where it is safe. But airplanes were not built to stay on the ground, and neither were you. You were built to fly. You were built to soar into the unknown. Staying on the ground might feel safe, but it is a violation of your engineering. It destroys your spirit. You say you are waiting for motivation. Let me destroy that myth right now. Motivation is a liar. Motivation is a fickle, fair-weather friend. It shows up when the sun is shining and leaves the moment the storm hits. If you base your life on motivation, you will be inconsistent. You will be weak, and you will be a failure. You cannot rely on a feeling to build a destiny. Do you think the soldier charges into battle because he feels motivated? No. He does it because he is disciplined. He does it because he has a duty. You must replace the word motivation with the word discipline. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it regardless of how you feel. The perfect moment requires motivation, but the real moment requires discipline. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting? Imagine for a moment the version of you that exists on the other side of hesitation. That person is unrecognizable. That person is unstoppable. That person walks into a room and commands respect not because they are lucky, but because they are moving. That person does not ask for permission. That person takes territory. The only thing standing between you and that superior version of yourself is the lie of the waiting room. You are sitting in a waiting room that has no doctor and no appointment. You can sit there for 50 years and no one will call your name. You have to stand up. You have to walk to the door. You have to kick it open. You must realize that time is not your friend. Time is a non-renewable resource. Every second that ticks by is a piece of your life that you will never get back. The clock is ticking while you analyze. The clock is ticking while you doubt. The clock is ticking while you perfect your plan. Death is approaching. This is not morbid, it is reality. You do not have forever to make your mark. You have a tiny window of opportunity called a lifetime. And for many of you, that window is closing faster than you realize. To waste this time waiting for a moment that will never come is a tragedy of cosmic proportions. It is an insult to the infinite intelligence that gifted you with life. There is a concept in physics called inertia. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. Right now, you are an object at rest. The longer you stay at rest, the heavier you become. The mental gravity of your doubt increases with every day of delay. It becomes harder and harder to start. This is why you must act now. Not next week, not tomorrow, now. You need to apply a massive burst of energy to break the hold of inertia. You need to shock your system into movement. You do this by taking immediate imperfect action. You do not need the whole staircase, you just need the first step. You are likely afraid of making a mistake. You are afraid of looking foolish. Let me tell you a secret. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. You cannot succeed without failing. The man who never makes a mistake never makes anything. By waiting for the perfect moment, you are trying to bypass the necessary education of failure. You are trying to cheat the system. But the system cannot be cheated. You must pay the price of admission, and that price is the willingness to be wrong. It is the willingness to stumble. It is the willingness to look stupid in the eyes of mediocre people. Who cares what they think? They are in the stands. You are in the arena. The world belongs to the energetic. It belongs to the decisive. It does not belong to the smartest or the most talented. It belongs to the person who gets an idea and executes it immediately. There is a magic in immediate action. When you act quickly, you send a signal to your subconscious mind that you are serious. You send a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. Opportunities are attracted to speed. Money is attracted to speed. Success loves speed. Hesitation repels all of these things. When you hesitate, you create a vacuum of doubt that sucks the life out of your dreams. So I ask you again, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for a guarantee? There are no guarantees in life except death. Are you waiting for approval? You will never get it from everyone, so stop looking for it. Are you waiting to be discovered? You will not be discovered, you must discover yourself. You must reveal yourself to the world through the force of your labor. The perfect moment is a myth, but the present moment is real. It is raw. It is messy. It is imperfect. And it is the only thing you have. You must stop seeing yourself as a victim of timing and start seeing yourself as the master of time. You create the right time by acting. You make the moment perfect by your intensity. The conditions will never be perfect, but your will can be. Your determination can be. Your focus can be. That is where the perfection lies, not in the external world, but in your internal resolve. Today we draw a line in the sand. We declare the death of the waiting room. We declare the end of the drift. You are going to stop analyzing and start agonizing over the work. You are going to stop planning to live and start living. The dream you have locked away in the dungeon of your heart is banging on the door. It wants to breathe. It wants to see the light. Let it out. Do not tell me you are not ready. You were born ready. Your very existence is proof of your readiness. The universe does not make mistakes. It did not create you to sit on the sidelines. It created you to play the game. This is not a rehearsal. This is the show. The cameras are rolling. The clock is running. The audience is waiting. But you are freezing on stage. Snap out of it. Wake up. The illusion of the perfect moment has held you prisoner long enough. It is time to break the chains. It is time to step into the fire. It is time to embrace the chaos, because it is only in the movement that you will find yourself. It is only in the action that you will find your truth. As we move into the next part of this presentation, we are going to dissect the anatomy of your hesitation. We are going to look at exactly why you stop when you should go. But before we do that, you must make a decision. You must decide right now that you are done waiting. You must decide that from this moment forward, you will be a person of immediate action. You will not overthink. You will not second guess. You will move. And in that movement, you will find the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. The perfect moment is a lie. The present moment is your power. Seize it. Now that we have shattered the illusion of the perfect moment, we must perform a ruthless surgery on the behavior itself. We must dissect the anatomy of hesitation. You need to understand exactly what is happening inside your mind when you freeze. This is not a mystery, it is a mechanism. It is a specific sequence of psychological events that leads to the death of your dreams. I want you to recall the last time you had a brilliant idea. Maybe it was an impulse to speak up in a meeting. Maybe it was an urge to approach someone. Maybe it was a sudden flash of insight to start a new venture. In that split second, you felt a surge of energy. That was your intuition. That was infinite intelligence whispering to you. That was the real you trying to break through. But then something happened in the silence between your desire and your decision. A microscopic gap opened up, and in that gap a voice spoke up. It said, wait. It said, what if? It said, not now. And just like that, the energy collapsed. The moment passed, and you stayed exactly where you were. We need to talk about that gap. That silence between the instinct to act and the decision to retreat is where the battle for your life is won or lost. It is in that terrifyingly small space that your destiny is decided. Most people think that failure is a big dramatic event. They think failure is a bankruptcy or a divorce or a public humiliation. But that is not true. Failure is a quiet thing. Failure is the accumulation of thousands of these tiny moments of hesitation. It is the cumulative weight of every time you said no when your soul screamed yes. You must understand that hesitation is not just a delay, it is a decision. Every time you hesitate, even for a moment, your brain registers danger. Not physical danger, but social, emotional, and psychological danger. Your subconscious mind kicks in and tries to protect you. It asks, what if I fail? It asks, what will they think? It asks, what if I am not ready? These questions act like invisible chains wrapping around your potential and suffocating it before it can take its first breath. You might believe that you are a rational person who is simply thinking things through. You tell yourself that you are being careful. You tell yourself that you are analyzing the data. But I am here to tell you that you are lying to yourself. You are not thinking, you are rationalizing fear. There is a profound difference. Thinking leads to clarity, but hesitation leads to confusion. When you analyze, you are looking for a way to make it work. When you hesitate, you are looking for an excuse to back out. You are looking for an alibi. Napoleon Hill taught us that the human mind is an alibi factory. We manufacture excuses with incredible speed and efficiency to justify our lack of courage. We blame the economy. We blame our upbringing. We blame our lack of resources. But deep down in the darkest corner of your heart, you know the truth. You stopped because you were afraid. Let us look deeper into the root of this fear. What are you actually afraid of? It is usually not death. It is usually not physical pain. It is the fear of criticism. It is the ghost of what other people will say. You are paralyzed by the imaginary opinions of spectators who are not even in the arena with you. You are trading your destiny for the approval of people who do not pay your bills and who do not share your vision. This fear of criticism creates a paralysis that looks like laziness but feels like it's terror. It makes you second-guess your own intuition. It makes you doubt your own sanity. It turns you into a conformist. And conformity is the enemy of greatness. To achieve anything of value, you must be willing to look foolish. You must be willing to be misunderstood. Hesitation is simply your ego trying to avoid the discomfort of growth. But there is a darker aspect to hesitation that we must confront. Hesitation is not just an event, it is a habit. Napoleon Hill called this hypnotic rhythm. It is the tendency of the universe to make your thought patterns permanent. Every time you hesitate, you are digging a neural groove in your brain. You are teaching your nervous system that when an opportunity arises, the correct response is to freeze. You are conditioning yourself to be a coward. I know that is a harsh word, but we are not here to be polite. We are here to be free. When you repeat the act of hesitation day after day, year after year, it becomes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a doer and start seeing yourself as a thinker. You become a professional observer of life. You watch others take risks. You watch others succeed. You watch others fail and rise again. And you sit in the safety of your hesitation, telling yourself that at least you are safe. But you are not safe. You are slowly dying. You are suffering from the disease of paralysis by analysis. You think that if you just get more information, you will finally be able to move. You read another book. You take another course. You listen to another podcast. You are stuffing your mind with knowledge, but you are starving your spirit of action. Knowledge without action is not power, it is spiritual constipation. It bloats your ego and makes you feel like you are making progress when in reality you are standing still. You do not need more information. You need more courage. You need to understand that you will never have all the answers before you start. The answers are found in the movement. The map reveals itself only when you start walking. By waiting for the full picture, you are denying yourself the journey. Hesitation also destroys your self-respect. This is the hidden cost that no one talks about. Every time you break a promise to yourself, every time you shrink back from a challenge, a part of you registers that defeat. You begin to lose trust in your own word. You begin to see yourself as unreliable. This erodes your confidence from the inside out. You walk into a room and you feel small, not because of what others think of you, but because of what you know about yourself. You know that you are a person who hesitates. You know that you are a person who backs down. This internal shame acts like a poison. It seeps into your relationships, your career, and your health. It makes you settle for less because you do not believe you deserve more. The man who hesitates does not just lose the opportunity, he loses himself. We must also address the silence. That silence between impulse and action is where the devil lives. In his famous conversation with the devil, Napoleon Hill revealed that the primary tool of the negative force is drifting. Drifting is simply hesitation stretched out over a lifetime. It is the refusal to make a definite decision. When you hesitate, you are drifting. You are allowing the winds of circumstance to blow you around. You are not the captain of your soul, you are a passenger. And passengers do not determine the destination. If you want to take command of your destiny, you must learn to kill the silence. You must learn to close the gap. You must train yourself to act so quickly that fear does not have time to speak. Imagine your mind as a courtroom. Every time you have an idea, the prosecution stands up and lists all the reasons why it will fail. They present the evidence of your past mistakes. They call witnesses who tell you that you are not good enough. And usually the judge, which is your conscious mind, bangs the gavel and rules in favor of the prosecution. Hesitation is the time you spend listening to the prosecution. The longer you listen, the more convincing they become. You must learn to be a different kind of judge. You must learn to dismiss the case. You must learn to act before the trial even begins. This is what we call instinct. Instinct is the direct line to infinite intelligence. It moves faster than logic. It knows the way before your intellect has time to draw the map. You are fighting a war against your own biology. Your brain is designed to conserve energy and avoid risk. It is an ancient piece of hardware that is trying to keep you alive in a jungle that no longer exists. Hesitation is your brain's way of saying stay in the cave. Stay where it is warm, stay where it is known. But you were not born to stay in the cave. You were born to explore. You were born to create. You were born to expand. Every time you hesitate, you are denying your evolutionary purpose. You are fighting against the very life force that created you. This is why hesitation feels so heavy. It is the weight of unlived life pushing down on your shoulders. Let me be clear about the consequences. If you do not conquer this anatomy of hesitation, you will reach the end of your life with a heart full of regret. Regret is the heaviest weight you will ever carry. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. You will look back at the moments where you froze, and you will wonder, what if? What if I had made that call? What if I had started that business? What if I had spoken my truth? Those what-ifs will haunt you for eternity. Do not let that be your story. You have the power to change the narrative right now. You can rewrite your psychology. You can rewire your brain. So how do we cure this disease? We cure it by understanding that hesitation is nothing more than a signal. It is a signal that you are facing something important. You do not hesitate about things that do not matter. You do not hesitate about brushing your teeth or watching television. You hesitate about the things that have the potential to transform your life. So when you feel that resistance, when you feel that pause, do not interpret it as a stop sign. Interpret it as a green light. That fear is your compass. It is pointing you toward your true north. The thing you are most afraid to do is usually the thing you most need to do. You must stop trying to negotiate with your hesitation. You cannot argue with fear because fear is irrational. You cannot debate with doubt because doubt has endless arguments. You must bypass the debate entirely. You must replace the habit of hesitation with the habit of immediate action. When the impulse strikes, you move. You speak. You commit. You throw your hat over the wall so that you have to climb over to get it back. You force yourself into a situation where you cannot retreat. This is how you break the hypnotic rhythm of failure. You disrupt the pattern. You shock your system into a new way of being. This is the anatomy of your enemy. It is not outside of you. It is not the market. It is not the competition. It is the microsecond delay in your own neural pathways. It is the ghost in the machine of your mind. Now that you see it clearly, you can defeat it. You can stop being the victim of your own biology and start being the master of your own psychology. You can close the gap. You can silence the voice. You can step into the arena. Hesitation is a thief that steals your dreams while you are wide awake. It picks your pocket while you are analyzing the risks. It robs you of your future while you are worrying about the past. Catch the thief. Stop him in the act. The next time you feel that familiar pause, recognize it for what it is. It is an attack on your potential. Defend yourself. Strike back with action. Do not wait for the feeling of courage. Courage is not a feeling, it is a verb. It is something you do. As we move to the next part of this presentation, we are going to talk about the shift that must happen in your identity. We are going to talk about how to stop trying to do the right thing and start being the right person. But you cannot make that shift until you acknowledge the mechanism of hesitation. You must see the trap to avoid it. You must know the enemy to defeat him. Today you have seen the enemy. He is the silence in your head. He is the pause in your heart. Declare war on him. Give him no quarter. Give him no space. Fill the silence with action. Fill the gap with movement. This is the only way to be free. We have exposed the lie of the perfect moment, and we have dissected the anatomy of your hesitation. Now we arrive at the most critical turning point in your journey. We must address the invisible operating system that controls every single action you take and every result you get. This is the concept of identity. You must understand that you will never consistently perform in a manner that is inconsistent with the way you see yourself. You can try to force yourself to act. You can use willpower. You can use motivation. But if your internal identity is set to drifter, you will eventually drift. If your self-image is that of a procrastinator, you will find a way to sabotage your own progress to match that image. This is why diets fail. This is why lottery winners go broke. They changed their external conditions without changing their internal identity. They tried to do without first being. There comes a moment on this path where something bigger than motivation kicks in. That moment is when you stop trying to succeed and start being someone who succeeds. We need to flip the script on how you approach life. Most people operate on the broken formula of have-do-be. They think, if I have $1 million, then I can do the things wealthy people do and finally I will be successful. This is a trap. It is the logic of the beggar. The correct formula, the formula of the masters, is be-do-have. You must first be the person of success in your mind, in your posture, and in your spirit. Then you will naturally do the things that successful people do, and as a result, you will have the success you desire. You do not wait for the result to change your identity. You change your identity to create the result. Let's get something straight about success. It is not just about what you do. It is about who you are. Your brain is a cybernetic mechanism, like a thermostat in a house. If your internal thermostat is set to average, and you suddenly have a burst of success that raises the temperature of your life, your internal mechanism will kick in to cool you back down. You will self-sabotage. You will hesitate. You will retreat until you are back in your comfort zone. This is why you take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. You are fighting against your own set point. To change your life, you do not need more willpower. You need to reset the thermostat. You need a total identity shift. You must stop seeing yourself as a hesitant thinker and start seeing yourself as a disciplined doer. This is not just wordplay. It is biological rewiring. When you say, I am trying to quit smoking, you are identifying as a smoker who is making an effort. When you say, I am not a smoker, you are identifying as a healthy person. The difference seems small, but it is the difference between struggle and freedom. The person who is trying is constantly fighting their own nature. The person who is simply acting in accordance with their nature. You must decide right now, who are you? Are you a victim of circumstance, or are you the architect of your fate? You cannot be both. This brings us to the principle of autosuggestion. Your subconscious mind is the captain of your ship, but it is a blind captain. It obeys the orders given to it by the conscious mind. If you constantly tell yourself, I am lazy, I am afraid, I am not ready, your subconscious says, understood, and steers you toward laziness, fear, and unpreparedness. You have been hypnotizing yourself with failure for years. Now you must de-hypnotize yourself. You must feed your mind new instructions. You must speak to yourself with the authority of a commander. You do not ask your subconscious, you command it. You say, I am decisive, I am unstoppable, I am a force of nature. At first, your mind will reject this. It will call you a liar. That is the resistance of the old identity dying. Ignore it. Repeat the command until the resistance breaks. You must understand that you don't become confident by waiting for confidence to appear. You become confident by identifying as a confident person and then asking, what would a confident person do right now? This is the powerful question that bridges the gap between who you are and who you want to be. When you face a challenge, Do not ask, "What should I do?" Ask, "What would the best version of myself do?" Would the best version of you hit the snooze button? Would the best version of you stay quiet in the meeting? Would the best version of you abandon the project when it gets hard? No. So do not do those things. Act the part until the part becomes you. This is not faking it till you make it. This is practicing it until you become it. The people you admire, the legends whose names echo through time, did not have a different biology than you. They had a different identity. They viewed themselves as people who were destined for greatness. Because they believed this, they acted with a level of conviction that terrified ordinary people. They did not negotiate with their goals. A person who identifies as an athlete does not negotiate about going to the gym. It is simply what they do. It is natural. You must reach the point where success is natural to you, where taking action is just what you do, where leading is just who you are. This requires you to kill the old version of yourself. You must hold a funeral for the person you used to be. The hesitant, scared, procrastinating version of you must die so that the new you can live. This is painful. We cling to our old identities because they are familiar. We know who we are when we are the victim. We get sympathy. We get to complain. We get to stay safe. To become the victor, you have to give up those comforts. You have to give up the right to complain. You have to give up the luxury of excuses. You have to stand exposed in the light of your own potential. Many people want the glory, but few want the responsibility of the new identity. You must choose. Do you want to be comfortable, or do you want to be great? Let's talk about the imposter syndrome that comes with this shift. When you start acting like a king or a queen, you will feel like a fraud. Your brain will scream, "Who do you think you are?" This is normal. It is a sign that you are growing. You are stretching beyond your current container. Do not retreat when you feel this. Lean into it. That feeling of being an imposter is just the friction of expansion. It means you are entering new territory. The only way to stop feeling like an imposter is to keep acting until the new behavior becomes your new normal. Eventually the mask becomes the face. Eventually the habit becomes the character. You must curate your environment to support this new identity. If you identify as a millionaire, you cannot hang around people who complain about poverty. If you identify as a leader, you cannot consume content that encourages passivity. You must align your external world with your internal reality. Wear the clothes that the new you would wear. Speak the language the new you would speak. Walk with the stride the new you would use. Your physiology sends signals to your psychology. If you slump, you feel weak. If you stand tall, you feel strong. Use your body to hack your mind. Embody the state of the wish fulfilled. Walk as if the goal is already accomplished. This identity shift is the secret to killing fear. Fear attacks the ego. It attacks the fragile self-image that is worried about what others think. But when you shift your identity to that of a servant of a higher purpose, fear loses its target. If you are here to serve, if you are here to execute a divine mandate, then who cares if you look foolish? Who cares if you fail? The mission is bigger than your ego. The new identity is not about being perfect. It is about being purposeful. When you identify as a messenger, you deliver the message regardless of the danger. You become bulletproof because you are no longer protecting a small, fragile self. You are expressing a great, powerful truth. You must stop saying, "I want to be." Wanting implies a lack. It implies you do not have it. Start saying, "I am." I am is a creative command. It is the language of the Creator. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am wealthy. I am healthy. Even if the physical evidence hasn't caught up yet, you hold the vibration of "I am." The physical world is slow. It takes time to rearrange itself, but the mental world is instant. The moment you declare "I am," you plant the seed. If you water it with action and protect it from the weeds of doubt, it must manifest. It is a law. Do not underestimate the power of consistency in solidifying this new identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you cast a vote for the new identity. Every time you wake up on time, you are voting for the disciplined you. Every time you finish a project, you are voting for the finisher you. But every time you break a promise, you vote for the old you. You are in an election for the governance of your soul. Who is winning? You count the votes every evening. If you find the old you is winning, do not despair. Just vote harder tomorrow. Accumulate so many votes for the new identity that the old one is voted out of office forever. This is the ultimate freedom. You are not stuck with the personality you formed when you were 7 years old. You are not stuck with the labels your teachers or parents gave you. You are the programmer. You can rewrite the code. You can wipe the hard drive. You can install a new operating system today. But you must be radical. You cannot upgrade 10%. You need a 100% overhaul. You must decide that the person who started this video is not the person who will finish it. That person is gone. A new power has awakened. So, I ask you right now, who are you? Do not give me your name. Do not give me your job title. Tell me your nature. Are you a drifter or a captain? Are you a spectator or a gladiator? Define yourself. Because if you do not define yourself, the world will define you. And the world will always define you as a consumer, a worker, a follower. You must define yourself as a creator, a leader, a master. Claim it. Own it. Be it. From this moment forward, never speak of yourself in a derogatory way. Never jokingly call yourself stupid or lazy. Your subconscious has no sense of humor. It takes everything literally. Speak of yourself with the reverence due to a creation of the Most High. You are royalty. Act like it. When you make this shift, when you truly be the person, the do becomes effortless. You don't have to force yourself to work. You work because that's what masters do. You don't have to force yourself to lead. You lead because that's what kings do. The friction disappears. The struggle ends. You enter the state of flow. This is the identity shift. It is the invisible bridge between where you are and where you belong. Cross it. Do not look back. Burn the bridge behind you. Leave the old self on the other side of the river. There is nothing there for you anymore but memories of smallness. Turn your face to the sun. Walk into your new life. You are ready. You are chosen. You are. As we move into the next section, we are going to talk about the fuel that keeps this new identity moving. We are going to expose the great myth of motivation and replace it with the iron law of discipline. But remember, discipline is only a struggle for the person who has not shifted their identity. For the person who has shifted, discipline is simply the expression of who they are. Be the person, and the discipline will follow. Before we expose the great lie of motivation in the next chapter, I must ask you a question. Are you merely watching this as entertainment, or are you ready to seal your new identity? A king does not walk alone. He aligns himself with other powerful minds. This channel is a digital mastermind, a gathering of souls who have refused to drift. If you have truly shifted your identity today, prove it with a small act of decision. Click the subscribe button right now. Like this video to signal to the algorithm of your own mind that you value this truth. Do not be a spectator. Join the alliance of the doers. Turn on the notification bell so you are summoned every time we hold council. Now, let us destroy the myth that has kept you weak. We have established your new identity. You are no longer a drifter, you are a creator. You are no longer a thinker, you are a doer. But now we must address the fuel that powers this new machine. Most of you are trying to run a high-performance engine on low-grade fuel. You are trying to build a legacy on a resource that is unstable, unreliable, and fleeting. That resource is motivation. I want to be very clear with you today. Motivation is a myth. Motivation is a trap dressed in inspiration. It is the greatest lie ever sold to the ambitious man. You have been conditioned to believe that you need to feel ready before you act. You have been taught that you need to feel inspired before you create. You have been told to wait for the spark. I am here to tell you that if you wait for the spark, you will freeze to death in the dark. Motivation is a liar. It is a fair weather friend that shows up when the sun is shining and things are going your way. It is the emotional sugar rush you get when you watch a video like this or read a biography of a great man. It makes you feel powerful for a moment, but it has no substance. It evaporates the moment you face resistance. The moment the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., motivation is nowhere to be found. The moment the client says no, motivation abandons you. The moment the gym feels cold and your body feels heavy, motivation is silent. If you build your house on the sand of motivation, it will collapse when the storms of life arrive, and the storms always arrive. You must stop worshiping at the altar of your feelings. Your feelings are not your friends. They are biological fluctuations designed to keep you comfortable and safe. Life does not wait for your feelings to align. Success does not check your emotional temperature before it shows up. The market does not care if you are tired. Your family does not care if you are uninspired. The world only cares about what you deliver. And you cannot deliver consistency if you are relying on a variable as volatile as emotion. You must trade the myth of motivation for the law of discipline. Discipline is not a punishment. This is where most people get it wrong. They view discipline as a restriction of freedom. They think it means a life of suffering and denial. That is the perspective of the drifter. To the chosen man, discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the creator of freedom. Discipline is the key that unlocks the door to the life you claim you want. Without discipline, you are a slave to your impulses. You are a slave to the path of least resistance. You are a slave to your moods. True freedom is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it regardless of how you feel. That is the only freedom that matters. Napoleon Hill spoke of the principle of controlled attention. This is the ability to focus the mind on a given desire until ways and means for its realization have been worked out. Discipline is the physical manifestation of controlled attention. It is the act of keeping your promise to yourself when the enthusiasm has faded. Anyone can work when they are excited. That is easy. That is amateur hour. The master works when the excitement is gone. The master works when he is bored. The master works when he is in pain. Why? Because his actions are not dictated by the weather of his emotions, but by the compass of his purpose. You have the equation backward. You think you need to feel good to act. The truth is you need to act to feel good. Motion creates emotion. Action creates inspiration. You do not wait until you are confident to take the leap. You leap and the confidence follows. You do not wait until you are energized to go to the gym. You go to the gym and the energy follows. The physiology determines the psychology. When you force your body to move, you send a signal to your brain that you are in charge. You break the hypnotic rhythm of lethargy. You generate your own electricity. Discipline is the quiet force. Motivation screams, but discipline whispers. Motivation needs an audience, but discipline works in the dark. It is the thousands of reps taken when no one is watching. It is the late nights and the early mornings. It is the rejection of immediate gratification for long-term glory. This is the unglamorous reality of success. It is boring. It is repetitive. It is hard. And that is exactly why it is valuable. If it were easy, everyone would do it. The difficulty is the filter. The struggle is the barrier that keeps the drifters out of the circle of winners. When you feel resistance, you should not retreat, you should rejoice. That resistance is the signal that you are leaving the herd. Most people spend their lives negotiating with themselves. The alarm goes off and the negotiation begins. Just 5 more minutes. I will do it tomorrow. I deserve a break. This negotiation is the death of your potential. You must stop negotiating with your own weakness. You are not a democracy, you are a dictatorship. Your higher self must rule over your lower self with an iron fist. When the command is given, there is no debate. There is only execution. This is how you build self-respect. You cannot respect a leader who constantly breaks his promises. And you cannot respect yourself if you constantly break your promises to yourself. Discipline is the foundation of self-esteem. Let us speak of the pain. There is no escaping pain in this life. You have 2 choices. You can choose the pain of discipline, or you can choose the pain of regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. It is sharp, but it is temporary. It is the pain of the cold shower, the pain of the difficult conversation, the pain of the last repetition. But the pain of regret weighs tons. It is a dull, aching weight that sits on your chest for decades. It is the knowledge that you could have been more, but you chose comfort instead. Do not choose the heavyweight, choose the lightweight. Embrace the immediate discomfort of discipline so that you can avoid the eternal suffering of regret. Discipline makes talent irrelevant. This is a hard truth for talented people to accept. I have seen men with God-given gifts squander their lives because they lack the discipline to hone their craft. And I have seen men with average ability build empires because they showed up every single day for 20 years. The tortoise and the hare is not a children's story, it is a warning. Intensity is cheap. Consistency is expensive. You might not be the smartest. You might not be the fastest. But if you are the most disciplined, you will win. The world is full of educated derelicts and talented failures. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. You must understand that hesitation is a habit, but so is discipline. Every time you do the hard thing, you are training your nervous system. You are teaching your brain that you are the kind of person who does hard things. Eventually, it becomes effortless. It becomes your identity. You do not have to force yourself to brush your teeth because it is a habit. Where quitting is unthinkable. This state is called cosmic habit force. It is when the universe takes your disciplined actions and automates them. But to get there, you must push through the initial friction. You must be the rocket that burns the most fuel during takeoff. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a lifestyle. Motivation asks if you feel like it. Discipline asks what needs to be done. Motivation is for the child. Discipline is for the king. You must decide which one you are. Are you going to be tossed around by the waves of your emotions, or are you going to steer the ship? You cannot control the weather, but you can control the sail. Discipline is your sail. It catches the wind of opportunity and harnesses it. Without it, you are just drifting wood. There is a spiritual dimension to discipline as well. It is an act of obedience to your vision. When you are disciplined, you are telling infinite intelligence that you can be trusted. You are proving that you are a worthy vessel for success. Why would the universe give you a kingdom if you cannot even govern your own morning routine? Why would you be entrusted with millions of dollars if you cannot control your own impulses? You must be faithful in the small things to be ruler over the big things. Your daily habits are the prayers you send to the future. Stop looking for the magic bullet. Stop looking for the secret hack. There is no secret. The secret is that you have to do the work when you do not want to do it. You have to embrace the suck. You have to fall in love with the boredom of consistency. This is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. The dreamer waits for the feeling. The achiever creates the feeling through the work. The dreamer wants the prize without the price. The achiever pays the price in advance and in full. Discipline is the bridge between thought and accomplishment. You can have the greatest definite chief aim in the world. You can have the most perfect plan. But without the bridge of discipline, those thoughts will never cross over into reality. They will die in your imagination. You must build the bridge brick by brick, day by day. Some days you will lay 10 bricks, some days you will lay 1. But you never stop building. You never take a day off from your character. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting to be rescued by motivation. No one is coming to inspire you. You must inspire yourself. You must become your own generator. When you wake up tomorrow and you feel tired, realize that this is the test. This is the moment where you vote for your future. Do not cast a vote for weakness. Cast a vote for power. Get up, move, act. Do what you said you would do. Not because you feel like it, but because you are a disciplined man. Because you are a commander of your destiny. The myth of motivation is a seductive story that keeps you weak. The law of discipline is the hard truth that makes you strong. Choose the truth. Reject the narcotic of temporary inspiration and choose the solid food of permanent discipline. It will not be easy. It will be the hardest thing you ever do, but it will be the only thing that makes your life worth living. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. It is the refusal to let your current self destroy your future self. Love yourself enough to be disciplined. Love your dream enough to be consistent. As we move into the next section, we are going to discuss what happens when you apply this discipline over time. We are going to talk about the law of momentum and how action compounds into an unstoppable force. But you will never see that momentum if you do not start the engine with discipline today. Kill the need for motivation. Resurrect the power of your will. You are ready. You are capable. Now go and do the work. We have spoken of the decision to act and the discipline required to start, but now we must discuss the force that actually delivers the victory. You have learned how to ignite the engine, but now you need to know how to keep it running until it becomes a force of nature. This brings us to the most powerful law in the universe for human achievement. It is what Napoleon Hill called cosmic habit force and what the modern world calls momentum. Most people never experience the true power of this law because they quit too soon. They treat life like a series of sprints instead of a marathon. They start and stop. They push and pause. They are constantly fighting the friction of the beginning without ever enjoying the freedom of the flow. You need to understand that the hardest part of any endeavor is the start. It is the first push that requires the most energy. But if you can push past that initial resistance, a miracle of physics and spirituality occurs. The burden becomes lighter. The speed increases. And the very laws of the universe seem to switch sides to support you. Let me explain this with an image that you must burn into your mind. Imagine a massive steel train wheel resting on a track. If that wheel is stationary, and I place a small wooden block in front of it, that tiny block can prevent the wheel from moving. The inertia of rest keeps it stuck. But if I can get that wheel moving and accelerate it to 60 miles per hour, that same wheel becomes a juggernaut. It can crash through a 5-foot wall of solid concrete and keep going without slowing down. What changed? The wheel is the same, the track is the same. The only difference is momentum. You are that wheel. Right now you might be stopped by a small wooden block called fear or doubt or laziness. But if you can generate enough momentum, those same obstacles will shatter upon impact. The problem is not the size of your obstacles. The problem is the lack of your velocity. This is where the concept of cosmic habit force enters the equation. You must understand that nature hates chaos. Nature seeks order and efficiency. When you repeat a thought or an action consistently, nature steps in to automate it. It takes the effort out of your hands and hands it over to the laws of physics. Cosmic habit force is the cosmic glue that takes your daily discipline and hardens it into destiny. It is the mechanism that turns a struggle into a habit and a habit into a personality. When you first start a new habit, it feels like hacking a path through a dense jungle. It is exhausting. You are scratched and tired. You wonder if it is worth it. But if you walk that same path every single day, the jungle recedes. The dirt packs down, the path becomes a road, and the road becomes a highway. Eventually you can travel that path with your eyes closed. That is cosmic habit force. It is the universe paving the way for the man who refuses to stop walking. But here is the tragedy of the average man. He never stays on the path long enough for the pavement to form. He hacks through the jungle for 3 days, gets tired, and stops. Then a month later he tries to start again, but the jungle has grown back. He is constantly fighting the first phase of resistance. He lives his entire life in the struggle zone, never reaching the momentum zone. This is why you are exhausted. You are not tired because you are working hard. You are tired because you are constantly starting over. You are paying the high energy cost of initiation over and over again without ever reaping the rewards of automation. You must stop stopping. You must decide that once you start moving, you will not cease until the goal is reached. Momentum is a jealous lover. It requires constant attention. If you ignore it for a few days, it leaves you. And when it leaves, it takes your confidence with it. You cannot afford to take a break from your character. You cannot afford to take a vacation from your standards. Every time you skip a day, you are not just pausing, you are sliding back. You are losing the accumulated power of your past actions. Think of it like pushing a boulder up a steep hill. The first few steps are agony. Your muscles burn. Your lungs scream. You are fighting gravity with every ounce of your strength. But as you keep pushing, you gain leverage. The boulder starts to roll, and then comes the magic moment. You reach the crest of the hill and gravity switches sides. Now the boulder is pulling you. Now the weight is working for you, not against you. That is what success feels like. It is the feeling of being pulled toward your destiny by the sheer force of your past efforts. But you will never reach that crest if you let go of the boulder halfway up. If you stop to rest, the boulder rolls back down and crushes you. And then you have to start all over again from the bottom, but this time you are weaker and more discouraged. This is the cycle of failure that traps millions. They underestimate the power of consistency. They look for the big break, the lucky strike, the quantum leap. But the quantum leap is a myth. The leap is simply the result of thousands of small steps taken without interruption. You are building a fortress one brick at a time. One brick looks like nothing. It is unimpressive. But if you lay one brick every day with perfect discipline, eventually you will have a wall that no enemy can breach. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. Despise the day of stopping. Cosmic habit force is neutral. It does not care if you succeed or fail. It only cares about what you repeat. If you repeat laziness, it will lock you into a cage of lethargy. If you repeat fear, it will lock you into a prison of anxiety. It takes whatever you give it, and makes it permanent. This is why it is so hard for a drifter to change. He has momentum in the wrong direction. He has spent years building a habit of quitting. To turn that ship around requires a massive burst of energy. It requires escape velocity. Just as a rocket burns 80% of its fuel in the first few minutes of flight to break the atmosphere, you must be willing to burn massive energy right now to break your old patterns. You cannot be casual about this. You cannot try. You must commit with a ferocity that startles your own soul. Once you achieve momentum, you become dangerous to your opposition. People who used to doubt you will start to get out of your way. The world loves a winner, and it steps aside for the man who knows where he is going. You will find that opportunities begin to appear as if by magic. Phone calls get returned, deals get signed, money flows, people will call you lucky. Let them. They do not see the years of pushing the boulder. They do not see the cosmic habit force working in the background. They only see the result. But you know the truth. You know that this luck is simply the residue of design. It is the law of increasing returns. The more you put in, the more you get back, but the returns are not linear, they are exponential. You must guard your momentum with your life. Do not let negative people slow you down. Do not let distractions derail you. Do not let a bad day turn into a bad week. If you stumble, get up immediately and keep moving. Do not sit there analyzing the fall. Do not wallow in self-pity. Motion is the cure for emotion. If you feel depressed, move. If you feel anxious, move. If you feel doubtful, move. Your action is the only thing that keeps the momentum alive. You are like a shark. If you stop moving, you die. Your dreams die. Your potential dies. Keep swimming. There is a psychological power to momentum as well. When you are on a winning streak, your self-image changes. You stop seeing yourself as a person who hopes to win and start seeing yourself as a person who expects to win. Success becomes your new normal. This confidence is not arrogance, it is the memory of past victories. Your subconscious mind keeps a scorecard. Every time you follow through, you score a point. When you have a winning season, your subconscious expects the next game to be a win. This expectation creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. You act with the swagger of a champion because you have the track record of a champion. But that track record is built day by boring day, rep by boring rep. You are building a flywheel. A flywheel is a heavy disc that takes a lot of energy to start spinning. But once it is spinning, it stores that energy. It becomes a battery of kinetic force. Even if the engine cuts out for a moment, the flywheel keeps the machine running. Your habits are your flywheel. On the days when you are sick, on the days when you are sad, on the days when tragedy strikes, your momentum will carry you. You will do the right thing not because you feel like it, but because the wheel is already spinning. It carries you through the rough patches. This is the safety net of the high achiever. His baseline performance is higher than the drifter's best day because his momentum demands it. So I ask you today, are you building momentum or are you killing it? Are you a starter or a finisher? The world is full of people who start things. The graveyards are full of unfinished books, unlaunched businesses, and unlived lives. Do not add to that pile. Be the rare soul who finishes. Be the one who endures the boredom of the middle miles. The middle is where the magic happens. The beginning is excitement, the end is glory, but the middle is the grind. The middle is where the momentum is forged. Fall in love with the grind. Embrace the monotony of consistency. Cosmic habit force is waiting to serve you. It is the giant sleeping in your basement. Wake it up. Give it a command. Feed it with repetition. And watch as it builds a castle around you. You have the power to bend reality to your will, but only if you refuse to stop. The only way you can lose is if you quit. If you keep moving, you will eventually arrive. It is a mathematical certainty. The variables of time and chance are eliminated by the constant of persistence. Do not restart your life again. This is it. This is the run. This is the time you go all the way. Draw a line behind you and say, I will never go back to the starting line. I will crawl if I have to. I will bleed if I have to. But I will not stop. I will let the momentum take me to places I could never reach by willpower alone. I will become a force of nature. I will become inevitable. As we move to the final part of this presentation, we are going to talk about the enemies of this momentum. We are going to talk about the excuses and the alibis that will try to steal your force. But know this, The only thing that can stop a train moving at full speed is the driver pulling the brakes. Do not pull the brakes. Full steam ahead. The track is clear. The destination is waiting. Let the force of your habits carry you to the stars. We have ignited the engine with the decision to act. We have fueled it with the law of discipline. We have accelerated it with the power of momentum. But now we face the final guardian at the gate of your destiny. This guardian is not a monster with claws and teeth. It is something far more dangerous because it is something you love. It is something you have nurtured and protected for your entire life. I am talking about your excuses. Napoleon Hill called them alibis. They are the sophisticated lies you tell yourself to explain why you are not where you want to be. You have a list of them. You carry them in your pocket like precious stones. If only I had more money. If only I had a better education. If only I had more time. If only the economy were better. If only my family understood me. These alibis are the bricks that you have used to build your own prison. Today we are going to tear that prison down. We are going to declare the death of every single excuse that has ever crossed your lips. You must understand that an excuse is nothing more than a well-dressed lie. It is a shield that your ego uses to protect itself from the pain of failure. It is easier to say that the game is rigged than to admit that you did not play your best. It is easier to blame the referee than to train harder. But here is the brutal truth that will set you free. The universe does not care about your reasons. The marketplace does not care about your hardships. History does not record the excuses of the men who failed, it only records the deeds of the men who succeeded. You can have results or you can have excuses, but you cannot have both. They are mutually exclusive. When you hold on to an excuse, you are letting go of your power. You are telling the world that you are a victim of circumstance rather than a master of fate. Let us dissect the anatomy of the alibi. Why do we make them? We make them because they comfort us. They numb the sting of mediocrity. If you can convince yourself that your failure is not your fault, then you do not have to feel bad about it. You can sleep at night. But that sleep is the sleep of the drugged. It is not the rest of the weary warrior. It is the coma of the coward. Excuses are seductive. They whisper to you that you are doing your best when you know you are not. They tell you that it is okay to quit because the odds are against you. They sound like logic, but they are poison. They are the silent killers of ambition. Most people do not fail because they lack potential. They fail because they have become experts at justifying why they cannot succeed. We must address the most common and dangerous excuse of all, which is the lack of time. How often have you said, "I simply do not have the time"? This is a lie. You have exactly the same amount of time as Henry Ford. You have exactly the same amount of time as Thomas Edison. You have 24 hours in a day. The problem is not a lack of time, the problem is a lack of priority. When you say, "I do not have time," what you are really saying is that this is not important to me. You have time for what you value. You have time to scroll on your phone. You have time to watch entertainment. You have time to gossip. You have time to drift. Do not insult your own intelligence by pretending you are too busy to build your dream. You are not busy. You are distracted. You are prioritizing the trivial over the essential. Admit it, own it, and then change it. Then there is the excuse of knowledge. You say, "I do not know how. I do not have the skills. I am not smart enough." In the age of information, this is not an excuse. It is a confession of laziness. The knowledge of the world is at your fingertips. If you do not know how to do something, you can learn it. If you cannot learn it, you can hire someone who knows it. Ignorance is a choice in the modern world. The titans of industry did not start with all the answers. They started with a question, and they had the grit to find the answer. Do not use your lack of knowledge as a shield. Use it as a roadmap. Go and find out. The struggle to learn is part of the process of becoming the person who can hold the success. And let us not forget the excuse of fear disguised as prudence. You say, "I am just being careful. I am waiting for the right time." We have already exposed this lie. There is no right time. You are not being careful, you are being fearful. You are afraid of what will happen if you try and fail. But I ask you, what will happen if you do not try? I will tell you what will happen. Nothing. Nothing will happen. You will remain exactly where you are. You will stagnate. Is that not a fate worse than failure? At least the man who fails has a story to tell. At least he has scars to prove he was in battle. The man who waits has nothing but a blank page and a heart full of what-ifs. You must adopt a philosophy of radical responsibility. This is the hallmark of the chosen man. Radical responsibility means that you accept ownership for everything in your life. If you are broke, it is your fault. If you are unhappy, it is your fault. If you are out of shape, it is your fault. This sounds harsh, but it is actually the most empowering philosophy in the world. Because if it is your fault, then you have the power to fix it. If it is someone else's fault, then you are helpless. If the economy is responsible for your poverty, then you must wait for the economy to change before you can be rich. You are a slave to external forces. But if you are responsible, then you can change your actions, you can change your mindset, you can change your skills, and you can change your outcome. Responsibility brings your power back home. Stop looking for a savior. Stop looking for a government program. Stop looking for a lucky break. You are the hero of this movie. No one is coming to save you. The rescue party is in the mirror. When you finally accept this truth, the death of excuses begins. You stop looking out the window for someone to blame, and you start looking in the mirror for what to change. You stop being a complainer, and you become a problem solver. The world has enough victims. It needs more victors. It needs men and women who stand up and say, if it is to be, it is up to me. I want you to conduct an audit of your vocabulary. Eliminate the language of the victim. Eliminate words like try and wish and hope. Replace them with will and must and am. Do not say, I will try to do it. Say, I will do it. Do not say, I hope it works out. Say, I will make it work. Your language shapes your reality. When you speak in excuses, you program your mind for weakness. When you speak in commands, you program your mind for power. You must become ruthless with your own inner dialogue. When you hear an excuse forming in your mind, crush it immediately. Do not let it take root. Kill it while it is small. You might say, but my circumstances are truly difficult. I have faced tragedies you do not know about. I acknowledge your pain, I respect your struggle, but I do not accept your excuse. There are people who have faced worse than you and have achieved more than you. There are people who have been born without limbs, who have become athletes. There are people who have been born in extreme poverty, who have become billionaires. Your circumstances do not define you, they reveal you. They are the weights in the gym of life. If the weight is heavy, it is because you are being trained for great strength. Do not complain about the weight, lift it. The death of excuses is the birth of freedom. When you have no excuses left, you have no choice but to succeed. This brings us back to the concept of burning the ships. When you remove the option of failure, when you remove the option of blaming others, you enter a state of desperate resourcefulness. You become creative. You become relentless. You find energy you did not know you had. You find doors where there were only walls. This is the state of the master. The master knows that the only variable that matters is his own will. He knows that he can bend reality if he refuses to break. Every time you make an excuse, you are selling yourself short. You are telling yourself that you are not capable of overcoming the obstacle. You are insulting your own potential. You are created in the image of the Creator. You have within you the spark of infinite intelligence. Do you think infinite intelligence makes excuses? Do you think the force that created the galaxies says it is too hard? No, it simply creates. You must align yourself with that creative power. You must stop identifying with your limitations and start identifying with your possibilities. This is a call to maturity. Excuses are for children. Children say the dog ate my homework. Children blame their siblings. Adults take responsibility. You are not a child anymore. You are a man or a woman with a destiny to fulfill. Put away childish things. Put away the comfort blanket of the alibi. Stand up and face the wind. It might be cold, but it is real. And reality is the only place where success can be built. You cannot build a castle in the clouds of delusion. You must build it on the solid rock of truth. So here is my challenge to you. Declare a zero-tolerance policy for excuses in your life. Starting today, right now, you are no longer allowed to blame anyone or anything for your situation. If you are late, it is because you did not leave early enough. If you did not finish the project, it is because you did not work hard enough. If you are not where you want to be, it is because you have not grown enough. Swallow that bitter pill. Let it burn in your stomach, and let that fire drive you to change. When you kill your excuses, you kill the old you. The victim dies and the victor is born. You become a person of high agency. You become a person who happens to the world rather than a person the world happens to. People will notice the change. They will see a new fire in your eyes. They will see a new set to your jaw. They will respect you because they sense that you respect yourself enough to tell the truth. And the truth is that you are powerful beyond measure, but only when you stop giving your power away to your alibis. We are nearing the end of our journey. We have one final step to take. We must enter the arena. We must make the final vow. But you cannot take that vow if you are still holding on to a single excuse. Search your pockets. Search your heart. Is there one left? Is there one small reason you are holding on to just in case you fail? Throw it away. Burn it. Stand naked before your destiny with nothing but your will and your faith. That is enough. That has always been enough. The death of excuses is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the clearing of the debris so that the foundation can be laid. You have cleared the ground. You have removed the weeds. Now you are ready to build. Now you are ready to command. Now you are ready to live the law of immediate action without the brakes on. The path is open. The excuses are dead. Long live the new you. We have traveled a long and difficult road together in this presentation. We have stripped away the comforting lies that have kept you sedated for years. We have exposed the illusion of the perfect moment and revealed it as a trap. We have dissected the anatomy of your hesitation and found it to be nothing more than fear dressed in logic. We have demanded an identity shift from the thinker to the doer. We have shattered the myth of motivation and replaced it with the iron law of discipline. We have unleashed the power of momentum, and we have declared the death of your excuses. Now we arrive at the final threshold. We have reached the end of words and the beginning of deeds. Everything we have discussed up to this point is merely potential energy. It is useless unless it is converted into kinetic energy. You are standing at the gate of the arena. Behind you is the safety of the spectator, stands where the drifters live. Ahead of you is the blood and sweat and glory of the battle. You must make a choice. You cannot stand in the doorway forever. You are either in or you are out. You must understand that life is not a spectator sport. Most people treat it as if it were. They sit in the grandstands of life criticizing the players. They talk about what they would do if they were in the game. They judge the mistakes of the men and women who are actually trying. They are experts on success, but they have never tasted it. They are the critics. Napoleon Hill warned us to never take advice from someone who has not demonstrated the results you desire. The critic has no results. He only has opinions. Do not be a critic. Do not be a spectator. You were not designed to sit in a plastic chair and watch other people live your dreams. You were designed to be in the arena. The arena is a scary place. It is where you can get hurt. It is where you can fail publicly. It is where you will be judged. But it is also the only place where life actually happens. It is the only place where growth occurs. The man in the arena knows something that the spectator will never know. He knows the taste of his own blood. He knows the feeling of being knocked down and getting back up. He knows that failure is not fatal. He knows that the only true failure is the refusal to enter the fight. When you step into the arena, you are declaring to the universe that you are ready to be tested. You are saying that you value your growth more than your safety. You are saying that you respect your potential more than you fear the opinions of others. This brings us to the final vow. This is not a New Year's resolution. Resolutions are weak promises made by weak people who expect to break them. This is a vow. It is a blood covenant with your own soul. It is a terrifying commitment, because once you make it, there is no going back. The vow is a declaration of war against your old self. You are declaring war on the part of you that wants to drift. You are declaring war on the part of you that wants to hide. You are declaring war on the part of you that settles for mediocrity. You must be willing to kill the drifter so the master can live. I want you to visualize a line in the sand. On one side of the line is your past. It is filled with unfinished projects. It is filled with hesitation. It is filled with the comfort of excuses. On the other side of the line is your future. It is a place of discipline. It is a place of action. It is a place of inevitable victory. But to cross that line, you must leave everything heavy behind. You cannot carry your alibis into the future. You cannot carry your victimhood into the future. You must cross the line naked of excuses. You must cross it with a spirit of total responsibility. When you take this vow, you are establishing a new code of conduct. You are becoming your own authority. You stop looking around for permission. You stop asking, is this okay? You start asking, is this worthy of me? You set a standard that is so high that the world cannot help but respect you. But more importantly, you respect yourself. Self-respect comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you said you would do something and you didn't, you chipped away at your soul. Today, the chipping stops. Today, you start rebuilding the monument of your character, brick by brick, action by action. You might be afraid that you are not ready. You might feel the old hesitation creeping back in. Let me remind you of the ghosts. Imagine for a moment that it is your final hour. You are old, and your time has run out. Standing around your bed are the ghosts of the dreams you never pursued, the talents you never used, the leadership you never showed. They are looking at you with eyes full of tears. They are not angry, they are just sad. They say, we came to you for life, but you were too afraid to let us live, and now we must die with you forever. Do not let that be your ending. Do not die with your music still inside you. Empty yourself. Give everything you have. Leave it all in the arena. There is an urgency to this message that you must feel. You do not have unlimited time. You are dying. From the moment you were born, you began the process of dying. The clock is ticking, and it does not care about your fears. It does not pause for your doubts. It keeps moving. Every second that you spend hesitating is a thief stealing a piece of your life. You must get angry at the thief. You must get angry at the time you have wasted. Use that anger as fuel. Let it burn away the fog of lethargy. Wake up. The time is now. The world is desperate for leaders. It is starving for men and women who have come alive. Look at the faces of the people around you. They are sleepwalking. They are drifting. They are begging for someone to show them that there is another way. You can be that person. You can be the signal in the noise. When you rise, you give others permission to rise. When you act, you inspire others to move. Your success is not just about you. It is a service to humanity. By playing small, you serve no one. By playing big, you serve the world. So I ask you, are you ready to take the vow? Are you ready to say goodbye to the coward and hello to the king? Say this to yourself right now. I refuse to drift. I refuse to wait. I refuse to make excuses. I am a force of nature. I am a commander of my destiny. I act immediately. I act decisively. I act with power. If I fall, I rise. If I fail, I learn. But I never stop. I never surrender. This is who I am. This is what I do. This new identity must become your obsession. You must protect it from the contamination of the world. You must guard your mind against the negative inputs of the drifters. You must surround yourself with the spirit of the masters. Walk like a man who has a mandate from heaven. Speak like a woman who holds the keys to the kingdom. Your posture dictates your reality. Stand tall. Look the world in the eye. Do not apologize for your ambition. Your ambition is the engine of progress. There will be days when the vow is tested. There will be days when you want to quit. There will be days when the momentum seems to fade. In those dark moments, remember this moment. Remember the decision you made today. Faith is the courage to obey your own command when the emotion has passed. You must be faithful to the vow. You must be the rock that the waves cannot move. The universe tests those it intends to bless. The struggle is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is a sign that you are climbing the mountain. The view from the top is worth the pain of the climb. Do not look for a miracle, become the miracle. Do not wait for a savior, be the savior. The power you are looking for is not out there. It is in here. It has always been in here. You just needed to unlock it with the key of action. Today we turned the key. Today we opened the door. Now you must walk through it. As you step into the arena, know that you are never truly alone. You walk with the invisible army of all the great souls who came before you. They are watching from the balcony of eternity. They are cheering you on. They want you to win. They know that you have what it takes. Infinite intelligence has bet on you. Do not let it down. This is your life. This is your one shot. Do not miss. Aim true. Fire. Move. The world is waiting for your command. The drift is over. The hesitation is dead. The master has awakened. Go forth and conquer. If you have felt the fire of this truth in your bones, then do not let this moment pass without a seal. A vow without a witness is just a thought. Be a witness to your own transformation. Click the subscribe button right now. Not for me, but for you. Do it as a physical act of commitment. Do it to tell your subconscious mind that you are aligning with the philosophy of power. Like this video to seal the pact. And do not stop here. The education of a master never ends. On your screen there is another lesson waiting for you. Another weapon for your arsenal. Click it. Keep the momentum alive. Do not go back to sleep. Enter the arena. I will see you there. You have stepped into the arena, but the battle against the drift is daily. A vow made once is good, but a vow renewed daily is unbreakable. Do not let the fire you feel right now fade into the cold ash of tomorrow. You must keep feeding the flame. If you are truly committed to this path, I ask you to leave a mark. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And look at your screen, there is another lesson waiting for you. Another blueprint for your victory. Click it. Do not stop moving. The momentum is yours to keep. Go claim it.